She gave all sorts of reasons when I said I'd go with her. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss another cheating story goes live. I have actually had 2 occurrences just recently that have made me lose all trust on my spouse. We have actually been a little rocky for almost a year now. We have a 4 as well as 2-year-old, and I think the stress of having to raise children has created the majority of our arguments. Not the kids directly, but the brand new lifestyle, or maybe the lack of it. My wife is a social butterfly, so going from a person that was always out mingling to being a residence with youngsters, and afterwards COVID, has actually thrown my wife into what I believe to be a midlife crisis. We have been a lot of arguments recently, however I never thought our marital relationship was in danger. Her habits recently has actually made me believe that maybe I was wrong. The first thing requires a small context. She is from KY but we stay in TN. Throughout the years we have visited her hometown and I have met most of all her pals, except for one man. She sees him all the time whenever she is visit home without me. When I visit with her, not a single mention of hanging out with him was made. Once, I joked regarding her possibility of cheating on me with him since I had not really seen him, let alone meet him. He is single as well as appealing, after all. But I was absolutely never worried that she would certainly do it to me. Recently she had a trip planned to go home for an event and I was going to stay here with the kids because the event is mostly a party with lots of drinking. A couple of weeks before the event, I couldn't find my phone. She was in bed and hers was in charge. I picked hers up to call mine. When I opened her phone it went to a text of her asking if he was going to make it to the event. He responded, "No, I will be out of town." Then she responded, "That's a shame because I'm coming in solo." Then he wrote, "Okay, let me see if I can make it then, ha ha ha." Followed by another one from him, "Where are you staying?" And she replied, "With my dad." Nothing more after that. I was sick with emotional stress for days but never mentioned it to her. Because as flirtatious as these texts were, it's not solid evidence of cheating. Or at least could be argued that it wasn't. I decided the best thing was to find a babysitter and go with her. I told her after I had a babysitter set up. "Guess what, I'm going to go with you." After which it seemed like she kept finding ways to stop me from going. For instance, deciding to leave on Friday morning when I had to work or coming back late Sunday when I had something else planned. Eventually I broke down and called her out on the situation. I told her I had seen the text. Naturally she disputed everything, saying her solo meant being without the kids, etc. The event was this weekend. I did go and he never showed. I still don't know what to believe. I still find it so hard to trust her. I have no hard evidence but all the small details are overwhelming. I am to the point where I don't believe a word that she says about anything now and don't know if I will ever be able to again. I am to the point that I really wish she would just admit so we can try to move past this. Which would be better than me just constantly thinking about this and wondering who else, what else has she lied about, etc. Here is the second story. My narcissistic wife keeps gaslighting me even with physical proof. 6 months ago I, 42M, found out that my wife, 42F, of nearly 20 years has been unfaithful in every way possible. I received an anonymous voicemail of someone having sex moaning my wife's name. As her husband, I know her intimate noises during sex and I'd put this at an 85% match. They were talking at the same time about what would happen if they got caught, where she mentioned she lies to me all of the time. When I tried to discuss it she blamed me for believing she would cheat and refused to acknowledge the issue at all. This pushed me to look around for more clues, which I found in spades. It started with realizing she had a lock on her phone and that she was hiding it from me. I got access and found her sending men and women very romantic messages recently across the past decade across email and chat, asking them to meet up. I found her journal where she called our marriage a contract and how she wasn't bound by its rules. I found that a few people she swore were friends where she had been going over to their house often was who she was meeting with in reality. She had always denied this, but was still meeting up with them even when she agreed not to. And I just found an adult dating profile 15 years ago, we were married years at this point, which I can loosely connect to a few hotel visits that didn't make sense at the time. On all levels, she has been unfaithful throughout our entire relationship while lying to my face. In the past 5 years it seems she has fallen for women, with multiple friends with benefits. She hid these people from me almost completely. Their texts show a friendship that grew into flirting, private secrets, which she can't recall what these were, hiding them and meeting up, and falling in love or lust. At the least, she had emotional affairs with these women. I knew something was different between us, but in a long-term relationship you ride the waves. I never expected this. It seems the voicemail was her with one of these girlfriends. It was all just too much. I filed divorce papers. She raged at me and took no accountability, calling me insane. All accusations were impossible. Months went by. She began to beg and plead, slowly trickle truthing. I was strong. When the pandemic hit, she begged her way back into my life. She admitted fully that she'd had emotional affairs, but never sexual. She claimed she always was too scared to go that far, which could be correct as she says she hates sex, just loves attention. She denies the women are anything more than friends, but admitted to having emotional affairs with more men than I knew of. I did my best to try one more time for my kids. She promised that she'd learned her lesson. She also promised that she wouldn't call these women without letting me know. It was a courtesy to show that she wasn't hiding anything. That while they looked like a relationship, they were not, and that we could rebuild trust. Last week she tearfully admitted that she had spoken with one of the women without telling me. She blamed the other woman. When I asked to look at her phone, there was no record of the call. At first she acted confused by the missing phone record. After I left in anger, she admitted an hour later that she'd deleted it. This week I looked at her phone history and saw that she'd called these women multiple times without telling me. She deleted these in her call history as well. She can't even keep a simple promise about not calling these people. It is clear that they are being observed and have now changed their tone. No more love you to death or flirty winks/kisses, just clinical communication. Moreover, she acted like the victim when she was the instigator, which seems to be true of all of her affairs. When I shared what I'd learned with her, she repeatedly claimed that the phone records were incorrect and events were ordered differently. This is common. Faced with facts, she claims all evidence is wrong, as it doesn't match her account. In her words, she would have deleted the calls if she thought they were bad. Thanks for the honesty, I guess? I'm at a loss. I believe I need to leave, but I'm realizing that I'm codependent as hell. For some reason I feel crazy for leaving over such a small broken promise. It seems invalid to break up our family over this incident. After all of the batty things she has done, that I've uncovered, her speaking to a random woman looks like nothing. Is this a small broken promise or am I rationalizing? I asked her 10 times to take a lie detector and she said no, each time finding a new random excuse. I knew she would find a way to avoid it. Now she says this is the only way to clear her name as I have so much hard evidence against her. But with the pandemic it will be weeks or months until this can happen. And why wait? I know enough to know I can't trust her ever again. Should I cut my losses now or let her fail on her own terms? Gray rocking and no contact worked well when I filed, but as we have to co-parent, this leaves me open to her constant attempts to manipulate. When she can stubbornly deny reality, she can bulldoze anything as she knows my weak points. These attempts work. I was trained most of my life to jump through her hoops. How do I move forward? I have 2 therapists, but you can only do so much there. Is there anything I can watch or read that might help? I'm reading Melody Beattie's books, but it is hard to stop these behaviors. My family is encouraging me to stay for the kids, despite what she's done, but this whole situation is crazy. I don't have good support, but I don't believe this is a healthy way to live. My kids deserve a stable home. I deserve to be with someone that can keep their word, or just safely by myself. At what point is it okay to do something for my own safety and sanity? Here are some of the best comments from our community. You come off as a really decent and kind person. It sounds like she even believes her own lies. I'd ask yourself if you could truly love someone after knowing they have deceived you for that long. You wouldn't be breaking up your family, she made all those decisions to betray you. It sounds more like you have a type of narcissist wife. For me, divorcing a narcissist now, boundaries are sacred. And it sounds like she passed them way too often. Please protect yourself. Protect your self-worth. Because in my opinion, marriage is a bond between 2 people. And not more people. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for any future cheating stories.